This is Healing State of Mind podcast, and I am your host, Shelby Alvarez. Healing State of Mind is sponsored by Hello Shelby LLC. If you're looking for services such as website design, business consultation, or podcasting, visit helloshelbyalvarez.com. On this episode, we are going to do some deep healing. I still hold a lot of pain from my abortion, and I needed to bring my circle into this conversation because we've all had similar stories, whether we had the thoughts of getting an abortion or we actually got one. This space is created for us to vent and heal together. This is a judgment-free zone, and we hope that anyone who's experienced what we have experienced can heal along with us. I briefly mentioned my abortion in episode 2, Ayahuasca and Finding My Purpose. So now I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. I was 22 when I got pregnant. I remember I was using protection, so it surprised me when my ex at the time told me I should get a plan B. I didn't think anything of it, so that's exactly what I did. I noticed my period didn't come the following month, so I thought it had something to do with the plan B. I was patient and didn't assume I was even pregnant. Around that time, I had packed my things and moved to Kentucky, so my life was going pretty fast. I immediately started working and learning my way around. I went out one night, and the taste of alcohol made me feel so nauseous that I couldn't finish my drink. That was not the Shelby way back then. The next day, I went to the doctor. She gave me a pregnancy test, and it turned out positive. I remember feeling so scared and happy at the same time. In my head, I was going to have a baby. I called my ex and let him know that I was pregnant. He told me there was no way I was ready to be a mom. I wasn't financially capable of caring for a child, and he would be away in med school for 3 years. So how would that even work out? I felt alone. So like any other woman would do, I called my support system. I wanted to get their opinion. Everyone had mixed emotions, which made it even harder for me to make a decision. I called my mom expecting her to be excited, but I got the complete opposite reaction. I didn't feel an ounce of support, and at that moment, I knew I didn't want to be a single mom. She was a single mom at 22, and here I was, pregnant at 22. I called my biological father, who actually told my mom to get an abortion. I called him because I knew he would tell me to do the same. He told me I wasn't ready, and I listened to him. So I tried to get an abortion in Kentucky, but I was already too far into my pregnancy, so I ended up going to Jersey. The laws are completely different on the East Coast. It's as if they want to kill babies because I was 15 weeks pregnant when I got an abortion. I had no idea so much time had passed. To be honest, my only regret is going through with an abortion knowing I was 15 weeks pregnant. I don't regret the abortion, but I just really wish I had support. It didn't feel like my village was going to help me. I felt so alone, and that was my first time ever experiencing depression. Honestly speaking, I feel like abortions should be illegal, unless a person was raped or if giving birth can kill the mom. These are my viewpoints, and I'm happy I got to interview a few people because they have their own viewpoints on this topic. Now, since we're on the topic of rape, a man who takes his condom off during sex and finishes inside of a woman without her knowledge should be considered a rapist. For one, you don't know if the woman is infected with a disease or if you're infected with a disease. Secondly, if she gets pregnant, unaware of you removing the condom, she is now put in a situation where she must choose to have the child or get an abortion, which can be a very traumatizing experience. Non-consensual condom removal is called stealthing, and I am happy California is passing this law because this has happened to me twice. The first one led to a pregnancy. The second one led to the fear and worry of potentially getting another abortion. So guys, please be very careful and ask your woman for permission before removing that rubber. Lastly, on my viewpoints about abortions, before I introduce different stories, I want to talk about the mother of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger. When I go into predominantly Black communities, I see Planned Parenthood. When I go into predominantly white communities, I see fertility clinics. Y'all can argue with me as much as you want, but Margaret Sanger used the women's rights movement as a cover up to kill Black babies. If you want more information on that, I included a few articles in the description. You guys can read it at your own leisure and form your own opinion. More of this episode after this short break. With Paramount Plus, plans start as low as $4.99 per month, or you can try it out completely free for 7 days. Don't spend more than you need to spend for quality TV shows and movies. Try Paramount Plus today, a mountain of entertainment. Click the link in the description. This is Keturah's story. So Keturah is my homegirl. We've been friends for years. I've known her for like ever. I've known of her forever, and we didn't meet each other until we moved to Kentucky. So it's just amazing how the universe brings people together.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So tell us your personal abortion story.
So I was 27 years old, and I was dating this guy in the Air Force, and we kind of had a love-hate relationship. And I was in South Korea for about 30 days. And when I got back to the States, I found out that I was pregnant. But before I found out I was pregnant, like when the pregnancy happened, I had anxiety all of a sudden, and the anxiety was like debilitating to the point to where I had to be put on Xanax. But I didn't know that I was pregnant before being put on the Xanax. And when I told him about it, he just started being emotionally abusive towards me. He would just, ignore my phone calls, and then he would say that I trapped him.
Wow.
Yeah, and that I was trying to use the baby to get his attention, when really all I was trying to do was just come up with a plan so that both of us could co-parent.
Did you feel like the relationship was rocky before all that?
It was. And the pregnancy made it worse because he didn't want to have the baby. And so, I told my dad about it, and I really wanted to know I didn't know what to do. Like, when I took the test and it came back positive, it was like the most scariest moment of my life. I had never been fearful of anything before, but when I saw those two pink lines, it was just like, oh my God, like I'm about to be a mom. Like, I was just so unprepared. And I had always been on birth control. I was on birth control since the age of 16. So I missed one shot, then that's when I ended up pregnant.
Wow.
Just one shot.
Wow.
Yeah. I was planning on getting the shot, once I left South Korea, but I couldn't get it out there. And so I didn't think that missing one shot would cause me to become extremely fertile. But it did.
So when did you realize that you were going to get an abortion?
I was about 5.5 weeks, and I had flew to Hawaii, and Hawaii was just so beautiful. And it's just been a place that I go to kind of clear my head. And so I went to Hawaii, and that's when I decided that I wasn't ready to be a single mom. I realized I hadn't traveled enough, and I grew up in a pro-choice household. And my mother, she's deceased now, but my mother used to always say, if y'all get pregnant, I'm taking you straight to the abortion clinic. Wow. So I had always thought, that it was okay to have an abortion because I was always raised in a pro-choice household. And before my mom died, my sister got pregnant, and my sister's now a single mother. And one of the things that my mom would always say is, don't ever become a single mom. So it was instilled in me, don't be a single mom. That's not something you want to do. Travel the world, live your life, have a partner that's going to help you take care of your child. And I knew that I wasn't going to have that. And so that's when I made my decision when I was about 5.5 weeks. And I got the actual abortion when I was 6 weeks, 6.5 weeks.
So what are your views on it now?
I think that every woman has the right to choose. I think that there are some people that aren't fit to be parents. There's instances of rape. But for me, I think that I regret my decision.
If you were to go back again, how would you have approached that whole situation?
I would have, for one, just stopped reaching out to him, because I had called him the night before the abortion was scheduled. I called him and he actually answered the phone, which before he didn't answer the phone, but the night before the abortion, he finally answered the phone. And he was like, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want anything to do with that baby. And so if I could go back in time, I would have never even reached out to him. I just would have continued the pregnancy and reached out to him, you know, contacted the Air Force once our baby was born. Because the Air Force, you know, the military, they don't play about that.
Mm-hmm.
He got the easy way out.
Yeah.
And the experience, when I went, I got it done in Louisville, Kentucky. There were protesters outside.
Yeah, they don't play.
Yeah, they were heavily protesting. And so the people from the abortion clinic, they come meet you at the car, they escort you inside. And then it's a long all day process. You can't have anything but water. They make you watch videos and they're supposed to do counseling. But when I met with the counselor really didn't say much. But what I realized years later was that the whole process was a counseling session because they have you watch videos all day and they make you listen to the heartbeat.
What?
They made me listen to the heartbeat, which made the experience of not wanting to have a child even more traumatic because you're hearing, you know, they want you to listen to the heartbeat.
This must be a Kentucky thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's a Southern thing.
Terrible.
Yeah.
In a way, it's good for the people who feel like there shouldn't be pro-choice. But just thinking about it, like if I were in that position, I feel like I would probably walk out of there.
I was just so scared. Like, I just didn't know how I was going to be a single mom. And then, you know, I'm a flight attendant. So I just didn't know how I was going to be able to raise a child. And I didn't want to put my baby off on family. Kids are being molested by family members. I just didn't want to try to figure out, like, okay, who's going to help me take care of my baby while I work? I mean, not saying that you can't do it as a flight attendant, because I know people who do it, but they have a hard time doing it if they're a single parent and they're not married or they don't have a significant other that's helping them raise their child.
Your mom, when did she pass away?
She passed away August 31st, 2011.
So this happened after she passed away.
Yeah. If she would have been here, then I probably would have kept my baby because I would have had help. I think that at that point, being 27, you know, being older, I think that she, you know, would have been willing. Like, I wanted my dad, I wanted him to tell me to keep my baby. That's what I wanted to hear. He said, it's your body, it's your choice, it's your body, it's your decision. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to make that decision yourself. He said, I support you if you decide to keep your baby, and I support you if you decide to have an abortion. Either way, you have my support.
He sounds very supportive.
Yeah, he was.
But that's not what you wanted to hear.
But that's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear, keep your baby, I'll help you. That's what I wanted to hear. The pregnancy was just really, it was a lot on my body. And like I said, the anxiety that I encountered when I was pregnant was so debilitating that my gynecologist told me to continue taking the Xanax. But when I went online and was looking at reviews, you know, about taking Xanax during pregnancy, then it was talking about birth defects. And it just made me like, just be like, okay, like now I really just don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to bring a child in the world and then, you know, my baby's deformed because the whole time I was pregnant, I was suffering from anxiety.
Right.
After the abortion, my body started to go back to normal. And when that happened, that's when I realized, like, oh my God, what did I do? You know, wow, like I just killed my baby. You know, it was just my body returning to its normal state that made me realize, like, dang, what you did was wrong. And I started drinking really heavily. I stopped going to work. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. And then later on, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I think, you know, just the different chemicals and the chemical imbalance and stopping a pregnancy and then dealing with depression and anxiety. I think it was just a number of all of that, because before I got pregnant, I was completely healthy and completely happy. And after I had that abortion, then, you know, I've been on disability off and on, you know, and it's the one thing in my life